What's up, everybody, and welcome to our college basketball big game breakdown for Tuesday, February 3rd. My name is Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
We're going to dive through the board just like we did Saturday and give you our best bets for a pretty solid slate of games, I would say. Saturday, for me, was absolutely brutal. We just can't seem to catch a break these days. The way we lost Missouri against Mississippi State was just a punch in the gut. If you had money on Missouri, if you had action on it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Missouri was covering the game for almost the entirety. At one point, I think they were up like 16 points. It came down to Hubbard with the ball. He attacks the rim. Mizzou didn't look like they really cared, and then all of a sudden the guy does go to contest the shot. It looked like Hubbard traveled. It was pretty much everybody unanimously agreed on social media. It looked like a travel, and then they didn't call it. He kicks it to the corner, three-pointer. Meaningless unless you got money on Missouri. So kind of on brand with how we've been running lately, but we are going to try to get back on track. Just going to keep shooting. You went 1-1. You had an easy winner with Houston. That was a great call.
Yeah.
As I sat on the sidelines and watched that as somebody who loves Houston. And you broke it down, and I was like, yeah. I just added on to it on why I love Houston, basically. And they killed him. And I was texting you throughout it, and the key there was in that game, in my opinion, was Chris Sinak Jr. hitting the outside shot, and he was shooting it great, and it forced Cincinnati to kind of expand the defense, but they had no answer. There was nothing they could really do. So, I mean, I'm sure that was a fun one for you to watch.
Yeah, and then I didn't get to really watch the second one because we were recording the Super Bowl podcast, but I had Drake. Bradley shot 16 for 27 from the three-point line, so it's going to be hard to win.
Yeah, it happens. So we keep it moving. We look ahead to Tuesday, and so, yeah, we're trying to get the show out as early as we can, the segment out as quick as we can when these lines drop. So it's currently 6 p.m. on Monday. So we're ahead of the curve a little bit, but they've been out for a few hours now. You have 2 plays?
Yep.
All right, I have 4. Try to go in somewhat chronological order here. Let me see. My first one, we are going to go 6 p.m. tip. Ole Miss going on the road to play Tennessee. Tennessee's laying 10.5 points on the home court. This is going to be Ole Miss's 5th time on the road in their last 6 games. Tennessee offensively it's a bit of a struggle. It's going to rely on Gillespie, how he's shooting. And then the 5-star freshman, Nate Ament, he had a good game last time out, but he had a ton of his production came at the free throw line. I do think he's beginning to figure it out a little bit more. He can get to a mid-range, and he's got a pure mid-range jumper. He can't shoot it from the outside as well as you'd like. You can still tell he's a little too timid for my liking. He's definitely super talented, good size. If he can start to find his comfort zone and be a more consistent producer on the offensive side, then Tennessee's going to be able to hang in there and give pretty much anybody a game. Defensively, it might not be as good as it used to be. They used to be top 5 in adjusted efficiency every single year, it felt like. They're not that good these days, but they're still a solid defensive unit. Where they excel and where they are better than the rest is in the rebounding department. So, like I said, offensively, it can be a bit of a struggle, but they make up for it with the fact that they're number 4 in rebounding margin, they're number 18th in defensive rebounding, and they're number 2 in the nation in offensive rebounding. So, with the offense potentially going stagnant and they're being tough to hit from the outside, you get a ton of second-chance opportunities here. Ole Miss is just not really that good. A.J. Storr's their leading scorer. He comes off the bench more times than not. He's been in college for a long time. A good player. Kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it's which A.J. Storr you're going to get. I think if you can contain A.J. Storr, not have him go for 30, I think it can be tough for Ole Miss to put points up on the board here. Tennessee being number 2 in the nation in offensive rebounding. Ole Miss ranks 217th in opponent offensive rebounds allowed. I expect a lot of second-chance opportunities, a lot of multiple looks at the basket for Tennessee. I'm going to lay 10.5 points with the Volunteers back on the home court. Which way are you going for your first one?
I'm going to Boston College, Duke. It's anywhere from 26.5 to 28-point spread right now. It appears like the line's growing. The point total is 135.5. Duke's hot, 9-game win streak in their last 5 games. They're only giving up an average of 57 points per game. Now they're facing the ACC's worst offense in Boston College. I think it's logical that the spread is this big. Boston College effective field goal percentage outside the top 300. Their 3-point field goal percentage is outside the top 300, but they're inside the top 100 in turnover rate, and they rank 269th in possession length offensively. Duke is really good offensively, right? And if Boston College, there's a strength of their team, it's on the defense. I think they have a top 25 perimeter defense, and if there is one weakness to Duke's offense, it is shooting the ball from 3-point range. They're outside the top 150 in that category. So we're going to go Boston College Duke under 135.5.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at this, and I gotta start just. We talked about this. I'm still transitioning from football and trying to put the basketball cap back on. This opened at 24, and I was like, thought about it, and then I was like, and then money pours in on them, and it's like even if just get on the right side of numbers and the movement and all of that. So I don't know. I gotta lock in here and start just getting back on track. So my next one we are gonna go to. So we got the one at 6. I think I got 3 at. No, I got one at 8, 8:30, and 9. So we'll start with the one at 8. And I'm going to be honest, I was on the fence on this one. It was another thing we were talking about. I feel like we had a brutal Saturday, but overall I didn't have a bad Saturday. I made money on Saturday. The plays I gave out didn't. So I'm not at that point to where I'm not as dialed in as I should to be super selective, I guess, if that makes sense. And that might not make sense, but I just feel like I've been a little too conservative with the approach maybe, but long story short, what we're going to do here for the next one, we are going to go trying to get an updated number just to make sure it didn't move on me at all. We're going to go Virginia minus 13.5 on the home court against Pitt. We've tried a couple times with Virginia and we failed. Last time when they played Notre Dame, I think they trailed by 19 points. Notre Dame had an unbelievable shooting performance in that first half. Virginia came all the way back and won the game. It was like their biggest comeback performance maybe ever. And if you don't get down by so much in the beginning, you know the whole story. But Shrewsbury and a couple of – you had a guy who averaged 10 a game go for 30. It was an uncharacteristically good shooting night for Notre Dame. It was unfortunate. But we are going to try again here with Virginia. This Pitt defense is one of the worst in the country. 335th. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's in their tempo. This Pitt defense is just – it's not good against Louisville, who I think is a pretty comparable team to Virginia. They're number 16 and 17 in Ken Palm's rankings. They're nearly identical in offensive and defensive efficiency. Against Pitt, Louisville beat them by 41 points. They shot 63% from the floor. They got anything they wanted. Pitt, 235th perimeter defense. This Virginia team has not been shooting it well from beyond the arc. You need the guards to step up. Somebody's got to step up and start to hit an outside shot. But you got DeRitter. He was the ACC freshman and overall player of the week, and he's a damn good player, very efficient. If you can get some production from the guards on the outside and start hitting some outside shots, I think Tennessee could run away with this one. I'm sorry, Tennessee. Virginia could run away with this one. And I think they need to. They're still viewed as one of the top teams. They have the capability. You got to put a full game together here at some point. The worry is that Virginia fouls way too much. 303rd in fouls per game, but Pitt is one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, 66.3% as a team. So I'm going to lay 13.5 points with Virginia back on the home court here. I just don't think Pitt's a very good team. So that's where I'm going with my second one. What about you? Where's your next one?
I'm going to NC State at SMU. NC State, it's a 1.5 road favorite, and the point total is 161.5. NC State's on a 4-game win streak. Both of these teams play at a pretty fast pace. Both offenses are top 60 in tempo. Both offenses are top 25 in adjusted efficiency. It's the ACC's top 2 3-point shooting teams in conference play. I leaned SMU here at home, but I do worry that NC State's maybe a little bit underrated at this point in the season. And SMU's defense really hasn't shown up in conference play. I think it's high scoring. I know that it's a high total, but we're going to go NC State, SMU over 161.5.
Okay. For my next one, I got two more. We're going to go to Rutgers on the road, taking on UCLA. UCLA's 12.5-point favorites, coming off the double overtime loss to a solid Indiana team. Before that, UCLA was playing well. They had 3 wins in a row, including the upset over Purdue on the home court. This team has talent, and if you watch them, Bilodeau, I'm a big fan of Tyler Bilodeau. I think the way his style of play, I think he's a super efficient scorer, can shoot from the outside, 3-level scorer. They had Dent, the transfer, I think it was from New Mexico. He came in. It took him a while to get acclimated. He was not playing well in the beginning of the year. He's playing much better as of late. Horrific from beyond the arc, at least percentage-wise. But they played the two-man game where Dent can attack the rim. Bilodeau can hit from the outside, kind of the opposite of what you normally expect. I think that back on the home court, they just had a tough loss, like I said, to an Indiana team that is a solid unit. I think we see UCLA get back on track here. And like I said, you had the win over Purdue. The defense for UCLA with Mick Cronin is always going to be a solid unit. I think offensively they're doing more than enough to cover against a Rutgers team here. That we saw them give Michigan State a run. They were up big in that first half. Michigan State made a big push and forced overtime. And Rutgers is struggling in Big Ten play, 2-9. I'm going to against the same Indiana team, just for reference as a comparable opponent. They lost Indiana 82-59. I think UCLA gets back on track. I'm going to lay 12.5 points with the Bruins. And you're done, right? You only have the 2?
Yep.
Okay. My last one, we're going to keep it in L.A. And we just talked about Indiana. They're going on the road for the second time. Like I just mentioned, they just went toe-to-toe with USC and beat them in double overtime. God, dude, I'm all over the place. I got to wake the fuck up. They just went toe-to-toe with UCLA, beat them in double overtime. Now you're playing USC. You're running the Southern California gauntlet here. This is their 4th road game out of their last 5 games. USC's playing good basketball, and to be honest with you, I like the matchup that they've got here. This number's been kind of ping-ponging back and forth. I'm going to lay 1 point with the USC Trojans on the home court. You got Chad Baker-Mazara. Your guess is as good as mine on which Chad Baker-Mazara you're going to get, but if you get the good one, he's going to put some points up on the board. He plays an exciting brand of basketball. Really, what I do like a lot is Ezra Ausar. I like his matchup. I'm assuming he's going to be down low against DeVries, the coach's son. The bulk of Indiana scoring comes from Wilkerson. I think he and Baker-Mazara can kind of go toe-to-toe here. But I think Ezra Ausar down low could have a good matchup. And this Indiana team's good, not great. They don't have a quad 1 win, if I remember correctly. UCLA might have fell into that category, or going into the Purdue game. So the talk with them was that they were moving in the right direction. This was a program that has kind of struggled in the last few years. So overall record 15-7, solid. They've struggled once they hit the conference play. I think it's a good matchup for USC. I'm going to lay 1 point with the Trojans and hope we get the good Chad Baker-Mazara. And if we do, I think we'll be in a good spot here. So USC, for what it's worth, is one of the biggest teams in the country. I think they're number 4 overall in average height. So I think they're going to have a rebounding advantage against Indiana. So, yeah, I'll lay 1 point with the Trojans as my final play. It's going to be a late night. Like I said, we got, 8:30, and then this is a 9 o'clock tip. So we're going to be up late working for it. But that is my 4 plays for Tuesday. To recap, I am taking Tennessee minus 10.5, UCLA minus 12.5, Virginia minus 13.5, and USC minus 1.
We're going Boston College Duke under 135.5 and NC State SMU over 161.5.
There you go. That is our best bets for Super Tuesday. Hopefully when we're back here Friday night, I'll be able to get my brain to function correctly. And I'll probably give out a couple plays along the way if I had to guess. We got to get back on track. I do. You're doing well. I got to do better. I plan on doing better for Tuesday. Y'all have a good one.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this good. A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.